hey, I'm here, I'm Annie, it's really nice to meet you. Here are my thoughts on a bunch of things. Hello! Kind of a weird wave. Thanks for being here and clicking on this video. I'll save my caveats for the end and get right into the title. First thing that I learned, I'm looking at my notes, from a fruit-based diet and the camera. This is tricky stuff, people. All right, thing number one that I learned is that humans can eat only fruit. The only food category that we can subsist on its own is fruit. And that is, go ahead and attempt as long as you can to eat just vegetables or just nuts. I could have turned that off. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable, and there are people who have sustained themselves for years and decades on only eating fruit. So the first thing I learned was this fact, that it is something we can do, and also that it may very well be our highest evolution as a species to eat only fruit from the trees and to go to this. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off there. It may be our highest evolution, and it also very well may not be. However, staying open to whatever those ideas are is a lot more fun and a lot more effective a tool of learning about yourself and your body and food and what feels good. So humans can live on just fruit and stay open to that, because much like most of you, there was absolutely a point in my life that I would have called that ludicrous ridiculousness. So know that that can change. Okay, number two, this is a little awkward. It's kind of an interesting, talking about food is weird. Number two is that eating only fruit absolutely makes you high on fruit. And while cooked food can be addicting, I also think raw food can be addicting, and a fully fruit diet can be addicting, and it's just choosing your addictions. Hello. So while it may be a healthy thing in the short term, it doesn't matter. I could edit or I could start over. It's not my whey protein, by the way, that's his. Life is just choosing your addiction, so choose if you want to eat. However it is going to be, quote, addicting, and look at food in general and its addictive tendencies in terms of people overeating and people undereating. So there's gonna be addiction there, so rather than like pointing a finger at things, pick the addiction that you want and go with it, and then maybe pick a different one. Which brings me to number three, which is to dive into whatever you're curious about and swim around for a while. And remember, you can go dry off whenever you want, or whatever metaphor of this that suits you, but really allow yourself to fully explore something. If you feel intensely or you feel a lot about something, then give it your all. Go for it. There's no way to know how you feel about something unless you fully explore it. So whatever that may be for you, be it, maybe it is fruitarianism, maybe that's why you clicked on this video, maybe it has nothing to do with food. Whatever it is, I encourage you to let yourself fully be in it, because that's where a lot of the learning comes from. But that's where most all of the learning comes from, is in the discomfort and in the fully going into something. And with that being said, I'll come to number four, which is to listen to and honor your body above everything, because all that health is wealth, Insta, Pinterest, whatever, it's all true. All you have is how you feel in this moment and how your body and your mind are feeling, and so treat yourself like that. Take care of yourself with that with that knowledge. You only get the one body, so it really is in your best interest to take care of it, and balancing that with letting go of being hyper obsessive or rigid or anal about taking care of it perfectly, and getting to the point where you do more harm to your body than good because you're increasing your cortisol levels so much and thinking and being so serious about being so healthy all the time and never having anything that isn't 100% clean, that you're stressing yourself out. And stress is absolutely a bigger killer than having salt or oil or sugar, in my personal opinion. So lastly, number 5 is that different diets are going to work differently for different people at different times. And I have different in that sentence a lot, very purposefully, because there is no one diet, there is no one right thing, there is no one way for all people to eat. And to go back to number 1, maybe you're like, Annie, but you said maybe fruit is our highest evolution, so maybe we all are frugivores. Maybe, like maybe in lots of generations. Again, I'm open to whatever, I'm open to it. To say that this generation of people whose parents ate far from even plant-based are gonna just automatically go to eating fully fruit. If you are going to make the argument that this is some high evolution, then we're going to evolve towards that. And I will happily be in the generation that eats rice and potatoes and beans and things in addition to fruit. And I will also happily listen to the very sound arguments of people who say that the healthiest diet is mostly vegetables and legumes and starches. And I guess letting go of this idea of correctness, of nutrition, we're just scratching the surface of understanding it, and especially the psychology of nutrition and how it relates to our mental health. And so to say any sort of absolutes is honestly funnier and funnier to me. So keep in mind that what works for you may be very different from what's working for other people. And what works for you now may be very different from what did work for you in the past. So again, just keeping that open-minded perspective and allowing whatever comes up to come up and just observing it. Okay, so caveats now that I'm done with those five things I learned from my fruit-based diet are what I eat now, which is a more balanced, and by that I mean more even distribution of macronutrients, and I don't know, I want to say 50-50 raw foods and cooked foods, and mostly just having a very different mentality about eating in general, and fears around food, or food as figuring out that balance that we're all figuring out of this is a fuel and also this is an emotional, cultural, medicinal, spiritual, whatever word you want to put in there as well. Look at all cultures and all history and how food is huge. So this is pretty new reflection for me in that I peaked in my fruitarianism, I would say, this past October and November, and I am filming myself at this moment in March. So I'm still coming off, I'm still transitioning, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring it out, and like I said, I have no idea what I'm gonna want in the future or what will work for my body when, and it is certainly a fun shift to view it as a game and as an experiment rather than the mentality I was in of perfection, of striving for perfection, of eating in very pristine ways that came from a good place of wanting to take care of myself and love myself, and also that then led to a lot of being an asshole to myself. I will say the thing I have reflected on now, and the hindsight is 2020, is that I came from a really highly processed background. Like the majority of my life was spent eating a majority of really processed foods. So I think in some ways in the life pendulum, I was so over on one extreme that my body really wanted to go to the other extreme to sort of balance it out, because fruit is a very cleansing, I do think as a short-term thing, it is a very cleansing diet, or just to increase your fruit because you're increasing your water, hydration, carbohydrates. So I think my body wanted to swing the other way, and now the pendulum's kind of neutralizing, and then it'll keep going, and that's all she wrote. Thanks for listening. I would love to hear your experiences or your perceptions or whatever you feel like typing. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being you.